Welcome to the Calvin and Trey radio show, hosted by, as always, Calvin and Trey.
I'm Trey.
And Trey, actually, we want to talk about something to start off the radio show this week. We came up with a website and a podcast name for future reference from now on out. It's bedlambrother.com, and that's where all the podcasts will be posted from here on out, as well as the YouTube pages. They always have been posted, but more importantly, have a name, have something going here. And it's not just named the Calvin and Trey Radio Show anymore. It is now the Bedlam Brother Podcast or Bedlam Brother Radio Show for whenever we are actually live. All right, Trey.
Yes.
Of course.
After the details.
After the details, after we talk about that for a minute. Trey, what do you want to talk about this week, man?
I know this may sound weird, but I want to talk about hockey.
All right. NHL All-Star Game
Yes.
was this past weekend. What we got here?
The kind of redeeming story, even though it wasn't at first, it didn't look like it, about John Scott. I mean, initially, so the NHL allowed fans to vote whoever they wanted into the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
So the fans kind of, I don't know if they did it on purpose or jokingly, but basically they created John Scott,
Created
or not,
going to more detail here.
They made John Scott, which is not a very good hockey player. He's an old school type of brawler type of guy.
Is he is he the guy you put in kind of a defense lineman to go fight someone?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Would he be called the enforcer? Basically, would that be kind of
roughly?
a term?
Yeah.
But
they don't really in hockey. They kind of gone away from that.
Right, because of the concussions and fighting and stuff like that.
They don't really, it's not approved. But
okay.
So basically, NHL or the team that he's with pretty much said no, and he didn't initially he didn't like it, but then after a while he realized, hey, this is kind of funny, and I kind of want to do this opportunity, and then then they sent him to a minor league team so that he could not be a part of the All-Stars
because he was leading the vote.
Yes,
right?
he was going to be captain of I think the Pacific. It's either Pacific or Central.
Yeah, well, because they only have. Unlike the Western Eastern Conference for NFL, not even NFL, for NBA now.
Yeah. They
now just have the Pacific and Central.
Yeah.
there are not that many East Coast teams for NHL.
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's Atlantic and I forgot the other one.
For NHL, there is?
Yeah, there was four teams that played. They played 3-on-3 on the All-Star Game. And they would progress to move up. So one team would play another team, and then so two teams would play each other, and they would go to the championship, aka the All-Star main championship game. And the winner there would win $1 million for their division, and then of course the MVP would win a car. And so John Scott did the impossible and brought his team there. He had 2 goals, and they named him MVP. He's the heroes champ, and everybody was really rooting for him. So that's just the upside of the story. I think if even though he wasn't in his the NHL did made him a special jersey for him, just with NHL on it. There was no other logos of other teams or his team that he was kind of affiliated with, but it's different. It was a good heartfelt story that everybody was really kind of supporting this guy. And, it's different, that's for sure. I think there would have been more backlash if the NHL did not let this guy play.
Really?
Oh, yeah, the fans were getting concerned, whenever it was getting closer until they finally announced, a couple of weeks or a week ago that he was going to play. So, that's always the fun part.
Yeah, from an NHL fan's perspective, so from your perspective right now, what did you like this idea? Did you not like it because it was kind of putting a guy back in there that doesn't maybe belong? I mean, what was from an NHL fan's perspective? What was your opinion on the whole voting event?
It's a cool takeaway that the fans got to vote, and they vote, and I believe they vote for the Pro Bowl and Western Conference, NBA. So might as well do it for the NHL. But I think if he didn't perform that well, this would be a different story too.
Okay.
Like if he didn't score any goals and didn't have his pretend fight with Kane, which was awesome. If he didn't have any of that, I don't think it would have been as important or as impactful as it was. Just this weekend overall was just the perfect weekend for Scott, and it was really entertaining. I enjoyed it. That's for sure. I watched it over the Pro Bowl because Pro Bowl is not the most exciting thing to watch.
Right.
So I mean, at least they played real hockey. And, well, except for, like, Saturday whenever they were doing their shootout thing, which that was still pretty entertaining, though. That's the thing.
So they have like a skills challenge?
Yeah, they had, like, a speed course type of thing, just like NBA does. Like, the day before the All-Star game, there's, like, that skills and the three-point contest. So instead they had shootout and, like, speed. And this one kid broke, this one young kid from Detroit, I believe, he broke the speed record around the lap of like 13 seconds or something like that. Something close to like he was he was at 13 seconds and it was 13.5 or something. Basically, he broke the record and he could have been faster if he didn't slip up just a little bit. But it was just a really overall very entertaining weekend for NHL, and I'm glad I get to talk about hockey for once.
Yeah, I think that NHL is one of the sports that I haven't really covered. Or that I don't know that much about either, and it seems fascinating how this whole kind of thing played out, where the NFL does not have all-star voting.
They don't. I think they kind of do.
NFL, it's not really.
Okay.
You just have Pro Bowl selections and it goes from there.
Okay.
NBA does.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see if if a bunch of NBA fans try to vote in. I don't know.
Nobody. A nobody.
So let's say
Nick Collison.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good comparison. So if NBA fans try to vote in Nick Collison next year or something like that, I think that'd be very odd and ironic. I don't think it'd make much ground because the NBA I think has more fans overall.
I think there's like a culture. There's a culture difference between NBA and NHL.
Yeah, I don't think that
for
whatever reason
NHL was kind of doing this for more respect for the old brawler guy, and he was also having like a tough time during this period. So, I mean, it's a good uplifting story for me at least.
Well, there you go. At least there's that. That's of course a good thing. What else we got this week?
So we got to hear the lineups for East and West.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was this week or last week, but we haven't talked about it. So what do you think about the Eastern and Western Conference lineups? Or was there any surprises that you were...
For NBA?
Yes.
For the NBA All-Star Game, there wasn't any really surprises. I did think it was odd that Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki were left off completely.
That's the one that I'm really concerned about.
But I'm not necessarily concerned.
Yeah.
As it's like a sign of the times.
Yep.
Clearly, there's younger players who are taking a stronghold in this league. There are guys who deserve their spots, starting or not, in this league. I know that there was some, what do you want to say here? Some angst, I guess, that Draymond Green wasn't a starter when he has the NBA leading 9 triple-doubles on the season so far.
But they had to give it to Kobe.
They had to give it to Kobe.
Well, I mean, all the fans voted for Kobe because it's, his last hurrah. Even also, he's not doing so well.
Also, the Warriors have how many starting?
Well, they just have Curry.
They do? I thought they
have Curry starting.
Okay.
And then backup is Green and Thomas, I believe. Or, no, I don't remember.
Either way, I thought it was.
I know for a fact Curry's starting.
Well, yeah, the reigning MVP will start the game.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I guess my thing here was, let's see. Here we got, Curry and Westbrook. That's right. Yeah, because the Thunder have 2 players, but then the Warriors don't have 2 players starting. That was the thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's you got Westbrook, Curry, Kobe, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi.
Oh.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
For the Spurs.
Yeah.
He's the Spur.
Yep.
You got this?
Yep, I got it.
All right, cool.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't get Tony Parker.
Really?
Yeah.
No, what I think's weird about the All-Star game now is that we're moving away from. It's like the All-Star game this year is small ball.
Yeah, it really is.
Like Kevin Durant's the tallest player now. Kevin Durant, who knows how tall Kevin Durant is?
No, well, I mean they have Anthony Davis though. Like
he's
for
starting.
Oh, well,
starting.
Okay,
I'm just talking about the starting lineup right now. There's not a center in the Western Conference that demands starting votes.
Yes.
That's what I think is kind of odd from this All-Star voting, stuff like that. And then for for the Eastern Conference, of course, you got LeBron, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Kyle Lowry. So really, there's not a center in either league. That's just polarizing, taking the fans' vote by storm, because this is a fans' vote to see who starts. And I think that's really just a sign of the times for the NBA right now. It's not a.
I'm surprised Rose or Gasol's not on there from the Bulls.
Rose is not having a good season.
I know he's not having it, but he's a popular character.
I'm just glad Jimmy Butler made it.
Yes, I'm glad Jimmy Butler made
it.
He's been having an amazing season.
Right. My thing is for the
I
NBA,
forgot they did that to the head coach too.
Tyronn Lue, head coach.
For instead of Blunt.
What?
Blatt.
David Blatt.
Woo.
Thank you. My thing right now is how do you in a league that's driven by talent. That's what the NBA is. The NFL, I'd say, is driven by the actual game more than it is driven by the players itself.
It's more of a team game.
Right.
Yeah.
You watch. I'm going to watch the Dallas Cowboys, whether Tony Romo's starting or Brandon Whedon is, or whether Matt Castle is. I mean, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm still going to watch the Dallas Cowboys play basically every game.
Yep.
As a fan. It also relates as a point as well that there's 16 NFL games, there's 82 NBA games. But for example, if the Cowboys are playing at, Sunday at noon, I'm going to watch that game. And if the Thunder play, let's say primetime Sunday night on ABC, and they're playing the Cavaliers, but we don't have Westbrook or Durant, and it's just not that big of a draw. And that's really just a star power kind of thing for, the NBA. I'm not drawn to watch a lot of Bucks versus who they play last night. The Bucks, I'm not drawn to watch a lot of Kings Bucks games.
Yeah,
not really a huge thing.
Even though you got Rondo.
Well, you got DeMarcus Cousins in my book, who's surpassed him in star popularity. But I'm not drawn to watch either of those two teams. I'm definitely not going to watch the Sixers play. And there's a bunch of NBA teams who are not drawn to watch them because they don't have star talent. But in comparison, in contrast, I am drawn to watch a lot of games where, Porzingis and, Carmelo and, or LeBron or Steph Curry or whoever it is, or DeAndre Jordan and those guys and Chris Paul are playing. But I'm not driven as much to watch the other teams. I think that's really a reflection of how the NBA is and what it's been for a couple of years now, I'd say. It's really a star-driven league, especially when these free guys who are free agents, they can choose where they want to go. It's been like that now for, basically since LeBron's decision, I'd say, is that, if Ray Allen says, hey, I'm healthy, I want to win a title, who wants to sign me?
Everybody.
Cavs, maybe the Spurs. Kind of doubtful on the Spurs, though. Thunder. That'd be outlandish for them. But Thunder or Cavs, I think, would be calling him up. And I don't think the Thunder need to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the Thunder need to. I don't think the Cavs need to. I don't see how he really fits into a Cavs lineup that has three-point shooters. I mean, maybe he fits in better than he does the Thunder, but the Thunder have Anthony Moore and Dion Waiters, who I think both of them are comparable to Ray Allen when Ray Allen's 40 years old. Which brings me to the point I have next year. What we did not talk about last week at all is the Blake Griffin thing.
Oh, I had one more question about the All-Star.
Okay, go ahead about the All-Star game.
Is there a celebrity All-Star game?
Yeah.
Do we know the lineups? I'm kind of curious about this one. I don't know why I always watch that, just for the laughs. Because it's pretty entertaining, I thought.
Yeah, it's on that Friday night when we have a wrestling match here in Stillwater. But it's on that Friday, and you've got what?
Please tell me Kevin Hart's not playing again.
I think he's coaching this time.
Okay, good, because he's going to get ejected.
What?
He always
so-
gets a foul and tries to eject himself and all that stuff.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. So Drake's coaching one.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, the
Oh.
coaches will be Drake and four-time NBA All-Star Celebrity Game MVP and actor Kevin Hart. Will
Just
face off
because
as head coaches.
I don't get why he always gets it every single year.
Because it's Kevin.
It's true.
It's an all-star celebrity game, and Kevin
True.
Hart right now is dominating celebrity world, so that's why he gets it.
Ooh, I see you, Tracy McGrady, playing for the Celebrity All-Star Game, and Rick Fox.
Well, this year they have the Canada versus the USA team.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
So you've got guys like Jason Sudeikis, Michael B. Jordan from the movie Creed, other guys like Nick Cannon, and NBA players like Chauncey Billups and Muggsy Bogues. And they've got like Elena Delle Donne of the Chicago Sky, who plays the WNBA. You've got those kind of people playing for the USA team. Then you have like NBA TV analyst Rick Fox, WNBA player Tammy Sutton Brown, Tracy McGrady, as already mentioned. And you've got guys from like Arcade Fire and HCVT's Property Brothers, and then you've got
actually going to be
Toronto
really
Blue
interested.
Jays All-Star right fielder Jose Bautista. You got a bunch of different people for the Canada team too, because you have to throw on everyone you can that's connected to any sport. So
I'm interested in that. I always like the celebrity game. It's always funny in my book.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I kind of get tired of Kevin Hart's antics because he tries to be funny and tries to win the MVP, and he shouldn't get it every single year.
Right, I will agree 110% on that one.
And somehow this year he's gonna get it. I guarantee you, he's gonna
coaching.
Yeah,
right?
but they'll give it to him somehow.
Time's done. He's coaching.
Are you sure? We'll see.
And anyways, for a more serious topic here,
Yes.
I did want to touch on the Blake Griffin kind of thing. As a person who wants to be in the sports world and be employed by somebody who represents an organization like the Clippers or like OSU, Oklahoma State Athletics or Oklahoma State Thunder, etc. I think it's a very odd thing to have a player punch a team personnel staff member, no matter what relationship they have.
Very true.
And my thought process on this is it's gone. No one's talking about this now. It's been like a week.
Yeah,
no one really has any conversations about this.
Because everybody forgot about it.
But when it was prevalent and when it was relevant and wasn't like every news headline and story, it was okay. How was Blake Griffin going to get fined? How is he going to get suspended? How is he, all this type of stuff? Correct me if I'm wrong here, but nothing happened.
No, nothing really.
They kind of let it blow over.
Are they still deciding?
Haven't you been 20? Maybe they are.
I think
they're just
still
waiting until the injury, until Blake Griffin's
yeah.
not injured anymore, and they can come back and then suspend him or fine him. But as an active fan, an avid fan of the NBA, I don't like the way that this was handled.
No, it was pretty much swept under the rug.
And Doc Rivers, I think, came out and said something close to, I think I'm loosely paraphrasing at this point, haven't you done something when you've been drunk? Or haven't you done something when you've been 25 before? And to that comment, yes. But to comment again, I've never been making millions.
Yeah.
And there's a certain expectation out there when you have guys as role models and leaders and you look up to them. Blake Griffin represents a part of society that none of us really can come close to in kind of star power itself.
Yeah.
He lives currently in the second city that America is known for, Los Angeles.
Yeah. It's almost number one.
Almost number one over New York now. I mean, it's getting up there.
I mean, it's like neck and neck.
Right. And he hasn't had anything like this kind of thing happen before, but in the same instance,
it's just like weird.
It's very out of character, and for him not to go up and apologize to everyone, or for him not to speak publicly about this issue is, I think, a very odd thing overall. What I noticed most from the whole incident and from everything that took away like that is that it's a slippery slope for the NBA just to kind of take this it's Blake Griffin, he's a good guy, he's fine, it was a mess up. But you think if DeMarcus Cousins did something like this, DeMarcus Cousins has a reputation for always getting in arguments with coaches and getting teed up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If DeMarcus Cousins does the same kind of thing,
He
I
probably
don't think
would
it's
be
dealt with the same way.
He would definitely get like almost 3 months of suspension or something like major.
Something major. Yeah, you're right. And I think that the fact that Blake Griffin plays for a playoff team has something to go into it too.
I don't think it's that. I don't think that's as much. I think this is because it's his first time. Yes, they're probably going a little too lenient on it, but still, I think it's because of his first time. That's the reason why they're kind of going a little less harsh on him. But I mean, that's always it's always a touchy subject. With does the punishment meet the crime? And we haven't really heard anything about the punishment.
I'm surprised there wasn't like a statement from the guy he punched who said, "Hey, Blake and I are friends. It's okay. Don't worry about it," or something. Because there's something to be said that if I go to dinner with a group of friends and I get in an argument where I end up punching another guy in the face and then he leaves the restaurant and I go outside to punch him again or something of the matter to the point where I break my hand. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a pro athlete, so I think I'd break my hand easier. Yeah. Because my hand's not as strong. I don't know, maybe I would break it as easy because I don't have that much force to put behind it because I'm not a pro athlete. But whatever the point is here, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever the point is, what the heck? It caught me as a very surprising, kind of odd thing.
Yeah, because all the commercials show him as like a superhero, and everybody should look up to him. He's a great Kia car guy. He's always wearing superhero capes and that type of stuff. And then, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, it's very odd to me that Kia didn't immediately just pull it.
I mean, yeah. I don't think has he done a new commercial with Kia lately?
I haven't seen one on TV recently, but playoffs. The
playoffs
Super Bowl is
this week. So
Super Bowl is it's this Sunday. So really, for me, it's just it's a very odd thing overall, NFL wise, that NBA wise, I guess, that the Blake Griffin thing didn't reach kind of a different story. That makes sense. Yeah. That we're not still talking about this right now, or we didn't keep talking about it until Silver made a decision.
True. I mean, like most commercials, you've already for the Super Bowl, you've already kind of heard of. So I don't think Kia's has something with Blake Griffin. So I don't really know at the moment. I mean, it's not as bad as what Tiger Woods did. That's a totally different subject, and everybody dropped him immediately. This is I don't know. I could still see where some companies could pull out of just the contracts and that type of stuff with him, but everybody has this notion that he's a good guy, or supposedly a good guy. So it's only time will tell, and I don't know if we've actually heard the verdict of his punishment yet.
I'm with you there for sure. I just think it's very odd overall, the whole Blake Griffin thing and how it played out, and the way that it's not a story this week at all, but last week seemed to be a major one.
Yeah, it just kind of got swept under the rug this week.
So for more of our NBA podcast at this point,
would you like to? I like to do a random thing.
Yeah, go for it.
How about Johnny Manziel? How do you feel if you're Johnny Manziel right now?
Not good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly got some stuff going on, some issues, and some
off the field issues, on the field issues, life issues.
I thought the worst move of his career was when the Browns drafted him, and that's to speak basically on the Browns' history. Yeah. The Browns to me, this was very odd because they didn't immediately go, "Hey, Johnny Manziel, great, we're so happy to have you on the team. Now here's your bodyguard or 3 that are going to follow you around 24/7 to make sure you don't get in trouble." That's what happened with Dez Bryant when he got drafted to the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Dallas Cowboys were like, "Wow, awesome, we got Dez Bryant. Now here's 3 dudes. They're gonna follow you around 24/7. Make sure we're all good, basically. You do what you want to do, man, but we're gonna make sure you're okay because you're an asset for this organization." And when the Browns drafted Johnny Manziel, I was very surprised that the same thing did not happen.
Browns draft, yeah. See, I think what's sad. The Browns are gonna draft another quarterback.
They have to now that they have a new head coach. Yeah, that they have to.
Do that how many quarterbacks has that been for them?
It's more than you even want to go on.
Yeah, I know. It's it's at least 4 or 5, almost.
In the past year. I mean, what do we?
No, I'm talking about drafting wise.
Oh, I mean,
The
they
past
drafted Whedon before they drafted Manziel, I
Yeah.
believe, and then there was something before that, and then there's
Yeah, there's
this
been a
this year
lot.
this year there'll be somebody, and if I was the Browns, I would not draft a quarterback though.
They're going to though. They have to.
They will.
Or well, I
But
mean,
you know what I do instead?
what?
I take RG3
Oh God, no.
and his just hear me out.
Okay.
And his super cheap, salary at this point because he's done with the Redskins.
Yeah,
their
that's
salary's
for sure.
paid out, and he doesn't, and he's not gonna. RG3 is not gonna
Is he
sign.
a free agent?
Yeah, I believe so. He's not gonna sign for another team for free, but he's not going to sign for any type of big quarterback deal because he doesn't have any recent notables.
Health is a big issue.
If I'm the Browns, I go, you know what? Next 3 years, we are going to be crap. We know this. We've been crap for the past 3 years.
We are crap.
We are crap. And try to build up a team through the draft and just take what you can get until then. The fans who go to Browns games are not expecting a Super Bowl this next year, and if they are, wow, I really have some questions for those fans, but I don't think they are. And for right now, I don't think the Browns fans are looking at it and going, all right, we see the Super Bowl in 2030.
Yeah.
Probably. That's probably what they're looking at, but I don't think they're thinking that far away either. Because the NFL's set up so that every single team can go 8-8.
At least.
Well, no, I mean, in the NFL's perfect world,
Mm-hmm.
every team goes 8-8. That's the NFL perfection. It's with the salary cap set up. That's the way everything's set up. For a team of this caliber like the Browns, for the kind of guys they have on the roster, they need an offensive line.
Okay, that's a major.
They need a running back.
Which they had one, but they traded him.
Who are they?
He's
not even in the league anymore.
I know, exactly.
Well, I don't count that as having.
Well, I mean,
I don't count that because they traded him, and at least they traded him.
Yeah.
At least they got something out of him. The Colts really took a bad deal on that
Yeah,
one. But the Browns need quarterback, running back, offensive line, defensive line,
safeties.
They've got Joe Hayden
yeah.
and they've got Justin Gilbert, and who knows how good Justin Gilbert would be. OSU Go Pokes, but I don't know everything the Browns need, but they need a lot, and I don't think that drafting a hotshot quarterback from whoever he is, if it's Connor Cook from Michigan State or any of the other quarterbacks that you hear about now just being thrown around. So there's some guy who's from North Dakota State University, who's won 4 national championships straight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen guys from D2 schools go on and do good things. Ben Roethlisberger, Ben Roethlisberger, I believe, from Miami, Ohio, and Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl. Stuff like that.
For me personally, for the Browns, they just need to keep a head coach for at least 3 years. Because they keep switching head coaches almost every other season, or every season almost, it feels like. And it's just not creating this consistent, because you have to redo everything, because one coach wants to do it one way, and another coach wants to do it another way, and so it's just not working at all.
You're right. And the thing that gets to me the most about this whole Browns team and the Browns saga is, don't you kind of look at it like the Jaguars? A little bit of the same, except for the Jaguars don't draft really risky players, whereas the Browns do.
It just never really works. To be honest with you, I wish the NFL could, the NFL higher ups could take control of the Jaguars and the Browns and try to at least try to make them competitive in some way, shape, or form, because they are they're not either drafting well, they're not coaching well, they're just not doing something very well.
Yeah,
Could you see that happen though?
I'm totally with you there. It's just the Browns need a lot.
Yeah.
The Browns need a lot that they currently don't have. And right now as it stands, the Browns they need a whole team. I'm with you. They need a coach for another 3 years, for at least 3 years, to stay some type of track. You know what I mean? Because it seems like each time the Browns rebuild from scratch each time because they basically don't make it anywhere.
They're trying to moneyball it. You know?
But they're trying to moneyball it.
Not for baseball, but for football. But
right,
it's not working out for them because they don't.
Well, okay. Hang on a second. They just got this guy in the past offseason, so we don't know yet.
Well, I mean,
but they need to build through the draft. We've seen a lot of good Dallas Cowboys offensive line is good because it's through the draft. Patriots are good because of the draft. You know, or they make great offseason signings and they have a great stable quarterback. I don't think that the Browns are going to find this quarterback this year. Yeah. What if I was the Browns? You just take some time and you go, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to basically just build personnel. We're going to build personnel. We're going to draft, you know, offensive line, defensive line, whatever we need first. And then we're going to draft a quarterback once we have that together. Or we'll get a quarterback through the draft. Or, you know what I mean?
So
something will happen like that.
Not going to go too off, but do you see Johnny Manziel being picked up by anybody now?
Dallas Cowboys. Or Houston Texans.
Which one do you think he would probably fit better with?
Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Because he would be out of the limelight. There wouldn't be that much national saga.
Well,
But also, I don't think he would do that bad with the Cowboys. And the reason being is that he's not going to start for the Cowboys. Clearly, Romo will. He just would be a better backup than what the Cowboys have now. Because he's played in NFL games and won 2 of 8 that he's played in. What I think that he does overall is he's just not the skills that he had in college do not translate to NFL because the speed of play just goes up just ridiculous amounts. And for right now, it isn't translating.
You know what I could see happen before Johnny Manziel finds a team?
What?
Tim Tebow find a team before Johnny Manziel. If that's still possible.
You don't think Johnny Manziel is going to play in the league again?
Well, I mean, it's like almost at this rate, it feels like. Because who would want that type of, that negative media that follows him around everywhere, you know? Because they're always going to be concerned about, is he going to go partying out in Houston or in Dallas or whatever team he goes to, you know? And I think Tim Tebow is much more safer pick, even though he hasn't played in the league for 2-3 years now.
Manziel's better than Tebow in story and in discussion, not a question.
All right. He's been working out on it. He's been doing good. He did a lip sync battle.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you even brought that in. No, Tim Tebow's not. Tim Tebow's a great analyst. He's a great analyst for what he does now.
Yeah.
He will go down as one of the craziest plays in NFL history of that pass to win a playoff game.
And have
against
316 passing yards and everything like that.
But besides that, Tebow's done.
Okay.
Manziel can find a place. He could find a place against with a couple of teams, I think, that are out there, but more than likely it'd be the Houston Texans because they could use a quarterback, or for the Dallas Cowboys because they could use a backup quarterback.
What about the Jaguars?
He's from the state of Texas. Jaguars have Blake Bortles, and they seem to be kind of invested in him overall right now.
True.
So, as far as that goes, I think the Jaguars are not going to. The Titans are not going to. The Buccaneers are not going to. There's a bunch of teams here where I don't think they need a fresh quarterback or teams. There's a lot of teams right now where I don't think they're actually looking in the draft to draft a quarterback.
Vikings, probably.
Teddy Bridgewater seems fine and okay for what they got now.
Okay.
I mean, name off some other teams that you think are going to need a quarterback.
San Diego.
Philip Rivers.
He's done.
He's not done. He put up fine stats this year. He has no offensive line or wide receivers, really. Antonio Gates is
call me whenever he wins
100 years old. I'm not saying that the Chargers don't need a new quarterback this draft, is what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm just messing with you because you're a Chargers fan.
Right, okay. That's true. Who do you think needs a quarterback, though, in the NFL and is going to draft one?
The only ones I could really see would be Houston, maybe Washington, maybe.
They have Kirk Cousins. They just gave him a contract. They just gave him a contract.
I know.
Contract.
49ers, because they're a question mark team right now.
That's true. 49ers, because Kaepernick just said today.
Eagles.
Eagles, yeah.
Um,
But none of those teams got. No, I don't look at any of those teams and I go, "Oh, that's where Johnny
yeah,
Manziel's going to go."
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
to
if
move
anybody, it
on,
would probably be well. Where'd Chip Kelly go? He went to the 49ers, so
yes, he did.
he's probably gonna be with them.
That's true.
Because I mean, it's a college quarterback system, you know.
Yeah, I think it's more of maybe, you know what, maybe. F it, you know what, maybe Manziel end up on the 49ers with Chip Kelly, and and the 49ers will do something with it. But I just don't think that Manziel's at the point in his. What worries me is that as a player standpoint, the relationship he has with a woman, she said, I'm scared for what he's doing to himself, not I'm scared for not I'm scared for what's currently going on in his NFL life.
Yeah.
So that's really it for as it goes right now. You know what I mean? I mean that's my opinion at least. So I don't know. That's what I take on it so far.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Of course, once you get closer, there's gonna be more and more talk about which teams actually needs to actually have a quarterback and which teams don't need a quarterback and what do they actually draft. Because of course, the Schaefer report, is always one of the greatest things to ever listen to.
Right, I'm with you 110% there.
So yeah, it's always been an interesting experience with the draft, and some teams don't actually draft the way that some people say they should draft. But
that's very true. One second here, we want to welcome Walter to the Bedlam Brother podcast. Hey, Walter, how you doing?
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. Just finishing up watching this OU beatdown of TCU.
Okay,
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, college basketball, nice.
Not surprised by TCU losing.
So, Walter, we're talking about, have you been listening along here?
Yeah, I have been following along a little bit. Yeah, on the quarterback situation, I could see the Cleveland Browns taking a quarterback with that second pick, that North Dakota State kid.
Yeah, what's his name, Walter?
Hold on.
Carson Wentz?
Yeah, Carson Wentz, that's his name. And then, San Francisco, they may or may not pick up a quarterback, but it's kind of funny. I read a story that whenever they hired Chip Kelly, that they pulled Colin Kaepernick's jersey. They were on clearance, and they pulled them.
Ooh.
Now, they're not on clearance anymore. So maybe that's an indication that they would be willing to keep up with him.
That they want to drop him, you're saying?
No, that they want to keep him
because it's not on clearance.
On clearance, and then they pulled him.
Oh, okay. So now it's not on clearance anymore, and then they're selling him. Well, I saw on ESPN earlier today that Kaepernick wants to be traded to the Jets. Did you see that at all?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Jets have Ryan Fitzpatrick. Didn't they lock him up not too long ago?
Yeah, so I think so as well. It's odd NFL that players can kind of pick and choose where they want to go, in my opinion, at least.
Of course.
So Walter and I both write for the BedlamBrother.com, and Walter wrote an article about the recap of the LSU OU game this past weekend. You want to talk about that a little bit, Walter?
Oh man, what a crazy game! I think in my mind that pretty much wrapped up that Buddy Hield should win the Naismith. I mean, first half was completely LSU just came out of the gate. That Quarterman came in, hit about, I'd say, 3 threes in the first half, and it wasn't working for OU, but OU stayed calm, collected, and the second half they came out with guns blazing. They ended up coming back. At the end of the game, they threw up the perfect play they had. It was Isaiah Cousins bringing the ball in, and then they had Buddy Hield come set up a pick, but instead at the last minute they had him slip. Both defenders left for Buddy Hield, obviously, and Isaiah Cousins had an easy pull-up jumper to get the game winner. Just a couple takeaways was just the fact that OU still wasn't playing very well, but in the end still found a way in the second half to win. It was good to see Ryan Spangler come back. He's had a couple of off nights, and boy, he just played very well. He held Ben Simmons the last 10 minutes of the game with no points. And just overall, a really great performance by OU. I think that they completely deserving of that number one spot, in my opinion.
So, Walter, I have a question for you. So, do you feel confident in the Big 12 or scared for the Big 12 after this SEC showdown that we had?
You know, you look at it, the Big 12 ended up going 7-3. They really, I feel like the absolute down game was when West Virginia lost to Florida. I mean, I think the Big 12 is still probably the best conference in college basketball.
Just because of OU or Kansas, or just because of a certain team, or overall?
I just think the overall talent. You look at OU and Kansas, they're probably going to be number one or number two seeds depending on how they finish. And then you've always got West Virginia. West Virginia is just a tough team to prepare for in the NCAA tournament, so that's why I always put them in at least going a little bit further. Iowa State seems to be picking up where they left off with Hoiberg. You've got Texas, and Texas is 6-3 now in the Big 12, and they're really, really, accepting Shaka Smart's ideas. And he's just a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think the Big 12 basketball this year has just been really good.
So yeah, I was just concerned because our top two-ish teams lost to the SEC, and they weren't really very good. Like Florida and forgot who else.
Florida won, A&M won.
A&M, that's it.
And I mean, A&M's a great team. They're probably going to win the SEC.
True.
Maybe if Kentucky can get their freshmen in at the very end. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's why you play the game. But in the end, I think the Big 12 still ended up winning the games, which I think was the most important thing. And they're just a very talented league.
True.
Do you think this past LSU OU game had more to do? Was more telling? Was okay, Ben Simmons is this or Buddy Hield's this? Who do you think really stood out to you from the game, Hield or Simmons?
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely Buddy Hield. I mean the dude is just an unbelievable shooter. The way that he has just developed his game in the 4 years of OU.
It's the same shot over and over again. It's just so pretty.
Yeah, it's just very pretty. Ben Simmons is raw talent. I think he's going to be a superstar, but Hield definitely showed that he was the better player that night, or I guess that day. Simmons had a couple great assists, rebounds. The very first half, he was playing just a very good overall game. And then the second half, he kind of, it was a combination between Ryan Spangler's great defense and just the ability of OU to get in his head, I believe. But yeah, he's a great player too, and he's probably gonna be the number one draft pick.
You think he's gonna be number one over Buddy?
Oh, yes, over Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
I was just wondering.
Unfortunately, I think Buddy Hield will probably fall into the mid to late lottery, but that's a lot better than last year where people were thinking he was a second round pick.
It's very true, Walter. What I forgot about Buddy Hield is that his size. He's 6'4". Maybe when it comes to combine, he's 6'3.5" or something. We don't know yet. Maybe 6'4.5". We don't know. But right now, it strikes me that he's really good ball handler, but he seems more of a shooting guard type, in my opinion. How do you think he'll fit in the NBA?
Yeah, I think he's going to fit perfect in that shooting guard spot. You said he's 6'4". I bet you if he was 6'6" or 6'7", he'd probably be in the top 5 picks. I read this interesting story about the New Orleans Pelicans because Eric Gordon will be a free agent this summer. And they said that if Eric Gordon decides to leave, that could be a perfect spot for Buddy Hield to just walk in and become the starting shooting guard. I think he's NBA ready. I think he can help a lot of teams.
But do you think is MJ 6'6", Kobe 6'6"? They're the two shooting guards that we know. Everyone knows who I'm talking about when I say Kobe and MJ. Do you think that he had, even though he's 2 inches less, do you think that he still has kind of the size? Because he has the physical presence. He's a pretty, muscular guy. But do you think he has the height and the length overall to make it in the NBA and to be a starter perennially?
I mean, when you talk about 6'6" and 6'4", it's only a matter of 2 inches, which isn't very much. Not to mention that Buddy Hield has pretty long arms. I don't know what his wingspan is, but I think he can do it. I mean, he's not too short. I mean, he's taller than you and me, Calvin.
Right.
By a lot. So I think he's got the size. I think that people are getting so upset at the 6'6" and 6'4", but really, if you look at it, that's only 2 inches. That's not enough to make that big of a difference. I think he's still going to be a great player in the NBA.
Yeah. I can see him being a really good NBA player. I just, as size becomes more prevalent and we end up playing more and more small ball in the NBA, I think about the size of players more and more and less about situationally, if that makes sense. So I do think he has a really good shot to make it in the NBA for a while. I definitely think he'll make it in the NBA for at least a couple of seasons because he's had such a good progression through the college ranks so far. But more or less, Walter, what do you think about the Thunder game tomorrow night? Playing the Magic. What are you looking for in this next game or so from the Thunder?
Well, let's just hope it's not a letdown game because they'd be lying to you if they said that they weren't looking forward to Saturday night.
Right.
Or the Orlando Magic have been slipping of recent. They were in the playoff hunt. They kind of just dropped off. But I'm just looking for a good defensive performance. Really, to hold the Magic under 100 points would be great. I expect them to win. And Dion Waiters coming into the starting lineup has helped a lot. He's played a couple great games, and it's just all about getting the whole team involved defensively, offensively. Hopefully, Russell Westbrook can keep up his dominant performance, having all these triple doubles, and just defense. Hopefully, the main question the Thunder has is can they stay good on defense? And Russell Westbrook last night against against the Wizards showed that he can stop. He had a great game against John Wall, who's one of the top point guards in the NBA.
Totally there with you. One thing that came up in a lot of discussion today, and it's not a fun topic for us Oklahoma City Thunder fans.
Yeah.
But it's kind of Kevin Durant's pending free agency and where he ends up going, after this season, or if he ends up staying. I think he's going to end up staying for numerous amounts of reasons. I think he signs a 1-year deal for max, and then when the cap space goes up again with another cap hit, he sees what Westbrook's going to do. But that's just my opinion because I don't think that Kevin Durant really thinks, 27, I've had 9 years in the league, now I need my huge contract today, versus I think KD can wait 1 more year and see what things happen with Westbrook. What's your opinion on this whole free agency thing with Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I hate to agree with you more, but that the person was Adrian Wojnarowski that wrote the article, and if you go down deeper into the article, he talks about how much he loves Oklahoma City in this. And I really feel that he talks about legacy. I think that Kevin Durant's legacy, he wants to keep it in Oklahoma City and not go join a team that, for right now is considered unstoppable. But, yeah, I think if he signs that 1-year contract, the collective bargaining agreement kicks in, and then him, Ibaka, and Westbrook will all be free agents the next year. And I think that's kind of what he wants, is so they can all decide together whether to keep this thing going or to move on.
I'm totally there with you. Troy, what do you think?
I hope we get to keep them all, but I could see possibly losing 1, maybe 2.
What do you think this offseason Durant leaves, or he just kind of waits around 1 more year?
I think he'll test the waters, just see what people will offer him. I'm sure somebody will offer him a full, maxed out.
There'll be a lot of teams who will.
I know there will be a lot of teams that will be willing to offer him a max contract whenever you switch teams. So I I don't know where he would want to go. That's the thing.
If I'm Durant for legacy purposes, I'm with Walter.
Yeah.
Stay in Oklahoma City. You do this for a year because then, I mean, as Walter and I are both saying here, Westbrook and Ibaka will be free agents after 2017 season. 2016, 2017 season. And after 2017, then you can kind of go, okay, then KD will be 28.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's really time to make a decision of, okay, the team that I signed a contract with now, I'm going to play the rest of my prime years out with. But for right now, Westbrook's still very young. KD's 27, still very young to have 9 years in the league already,
Mm-hmm.
And Ibaka still seems very young to me as well. I think that KD signs for one more year, sees where can we go. What I think sad, Walter and Trey, is injuries are part of the NBA.
True.
And the Thunder have dealt with bad injuries in the past that kept them out of the playoffs. And the Spurs and Warriors are on such a prolific streak of wins, and yet have they had to play the Thunder that much at all. Or they haven't played the Thunder at all, either of those two teams. But from what I understand right now, injuries are part of the NBA. At some point, something's going to happen to Spurs or Warriors, sadly. It's just part of playing 82 games in a year with back-to-backs, with all this stuff. Walter, I don't know if you agree with me or much, and I would definitely wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but I just think an injury is kind of imminent for one of these guys who's playing at such a high level over on the NBA. Do you agree or not, Walter?
Yeah, I mean, basketball is such a physical sport. Eventually,
especially playing so many games.
Yeah, but the Warriors are so deep that I don't think it would, unless it was Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. I think they'd be able to get over the hump. The Spurs, not so much. They're not as deep as the Warriors, I think. But when you look at it, the Thunder are 33-9 with Kevin Durant on the field, on the court, and they're headed. If you do the numbers right, they're headed to a 61-62 game season, winning season. And in most NBA seasons, that would be considered top of the NBA. You would be considered like the favorite for the title. And I just think that, just because the Warriors and the Spurs are playing so well, people forget that. So if Durant leaves, is there another team in the NBA besides the Warriors and Spurs where he could get a 61-game winning season? And I just don't think it is. And the Spurs, you understand that the Thunder could potentially beat them, but I'm starting to be worried that the Warriors are just going to be labeled as unbeatable. I'm worried that the Warriors are unbeatable.
I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
But then again, I think of how the Warriors have played the Spurs, and the Warriors haven't played the Thunder yet.
Well, they played the Spurs, but not at full strength.
Right, and
missing Duncan.
Right, and what I think is that whenever the playoffs come around, that's when the real. Sadly, that's when we really get serious, of course, because then it means titles. And for me, the Thunder stay healthy. Knock on wood here. Thunder stay healthy, and we get to the playoffs and we play those other teams. Stuff happens. Mike Conley went down last year. Chris Paul didn't even play. Steph Curry didn't have to defend elite point guards. And I think Westbrook Curry matchup's really exciting, and I think that Durant can go toe to toe with. I think Durant's upped his intensity this year on the defensive side of the ball more than anyone else is talking about, really. Yeah. And having Dion Waiters in the starting lineup, getting him kind of that momentum, that confidence booster in being in the starting lineup, and then having Serge Ibaka and Steven Adams playing at a high level. And you can't forget about Cantor either. We've got great players. We've got a sixth man of the year, if Cantor can even be called that off the bench. And I see green grass, blue skies headed towards the playoffs as it goes for the Thunder, Walter. And I don't think the Warriors are...
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I don't think that the Warriors are unbeatable necessarily, but I do think that the Warriors have such a high level of confidence. They're almost like the Carolina Panthers right now. Such a high level of confidence. That'll be really, really tough to take them down from that as we get farther along in the season.
Do you think they'll break the record now? Because they're on pace.
No.
Okay.
They have to play the Thunder three times.
Okay.
Here's the thing. They have 4 losses. They can only have 10. And when they hit 10, that's it.
Yeah.
They have 4 losses. We're more than halfway through the season. They still have to play a lot of back-to-backs. Couple of home and road back-to-backs. And they have to play the Thunder 3 times. They have to play the Spurs 2 more times. They just don't have a favorable schedule to end the season.
Yeah.
And things happen. Just the unknown and the kind of the idea of the unknown is what gets me and stays forward in my brain of, they're just not going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the next 3 games the Warriors have are the Wizards, Thunder, and Rockets, and those are all pretty tough opponents right there. I know the Wizards aren't doing as well this season, but they can still.
Are they the Bullets now?
No, they're still they're the Wizards.
They're still the Wizards? When do they turn into the Bullets? Is it next season?
What?
I thought they turned into the Bullets eventually.
The Wizards go back to being named the Bullets?
I think so.
They were named the Bullets in the past. I don't think I don't think they're going back to the Bullets again.
I heard that
they're going back to the name the Bullets.
I thought.
No.
They were discussing it.
Not a thing.
Okay.
Sorry, Trey. Not a thing.
But would you guys say that Saturday night the most important matchup would be the Westbrook-Curry matchup?
Yep, 100%. I don't think that Harrison Barnes versus KD is a big matchup. I think KD just got to be KD and dominate that.
Harrison Barnes doesn't even start, does he? Or is he...
Iguodala and him switch out, right? Right? Iguodala and him switch out?
Yeah, I guess it's Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, and Bogut.
Yeah.
That'd be the starting. Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You think the one mismatch you could see is Ibaka posting up Draymond Green a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
I see as well.
But, and then Cameron Payne is just playing so unbelievable. Hopefully he can spark the bench as well, him and Enes Kanter.
Oh, yeah. That'd be crazy awesome.
The way Cameron Payne is playing, I think he will probably end up being the first team All-NBA rookie. What do you guys think?
I think the same for sure. Walter, I will say this, though. This ends the Bedlam Brother podcast or last radio show for the week. It is 9 o'clock. So we will have to definitely work on the time management skills a tiny bit better next week, of course, because we always seem to end like this on great points at the end. But this is Calvin and Trey.
I'm Trey.
Signing out, and we will talk to everyone next week at 8 p.m. Central Time. Thank you. I don't think it goes. I don't know. Perfect. I was hoping to click it sooner.